Hey guys, guess what? I've made it. I got a shout out by Neek at night. Hello, I've made it. No one can chat to me anymore. Nobody can leave me any negative comments. Nobody can say anything to me now. That's it. I made it. Top 5 on YouTube. I'm so thankful. It's so nice to be shouted out by such a big channel.
Okay, so her name is RJ Perspectives. There we
Jeez!
go. It was like, look at young Pharaoh standing there like a bad bee.
So today I wanted to talk about Dr. Umar Johnson. Now, I've heard a lot of things about how he's another conscious community scammer, but I haven't seen enough evidence or heard enough facts to back that up. I'm not saying that, he isn't that. I'm just saying I haven't seen enough evidence. So I'm going to have to do some more research on that. But also, guys, if you know anything else I should look into him, surrounding him, and anything controversial, then please let me know in the comments. Tell me what I don't know, tell me what I'm missing, educate me in a sense into any of his shenanigans. Because from what I know, he does promote Black love, Black unity. And, I've heard him say quite a few times in his videos that, black men should black men should marry black women. And so most of the things that I hear him say are quite positive. I hear him talking about how we should invest, into our families, into our futures. So yeah, I feel like I've seen a fairly positive presentation from Dr. Umar Johnson. But however, I am aware that there is controversy surrounding him. The one I have thing I've heard about mostly is about a school he was supposed to create, and he took donations for, I think, and investments for, but the school never came into fruition. So I've heard about that, but again, I don't know enough detail about that to kind of talk about that, and I don't want to kind of have an ignorant viewpoint. So yeah, guys, please leave me some comments and tell me what else he has done, what I need to look into, who I should, research to find out a bit more about him. So yeah, guys, today I just wanted to get into a couple of videos of him. They're just short clips, and I just kind of wanted to add my commentary, let you know my thoughts. Because what's interesting about him is, as well, obviously, I think he's made it quite clear he's into polygamy and having multiple wives. That seems to be a common theme in this conscious community circle. I mean, do you know what I mean? I don't know what's wrong with monogamy. I don't know what's what's the problem. But I don't know. Some people, they say that we're not meant to be monogamous, we wasn't born to be monogamous. Men were born and created to reproduce, with as many women as possible. A lot of people have that viewpoint in the conscious community. Yeah, guys, what is wrong with monogamous relationships? Like, what is the problem? Like, why can we not have one man and have one woman? Like, why can we not, do you know what I mean, build together, get married, or not? Do you know what I mean? Not everyone wants to get married. Have your family, have your children, same parents, two-parent home, and let's just, you know what I mean, build together, invest in our children, and just have a great life and stress-free life. Like, why can that not be the motive? Why does there have to be multiple? Why? But at the same time, whatever works for other people is fine. But when you start to push that narrative that that's the only way and that's the right way and that's how it's supposed to be, that's kind of where, the problem arises. Because how can you tell anyone that being polygamous is the supposed natural way of life? According to who? Like, what are you basing that off? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a sticky one. It's a sticky one. But I just don't like the way that a lot of these conscious community people, they tend to, not all of them, but a lot of them tend to try and push the polygamous, way of life. And most of them don't even have a successful polygamous relationship, if I'm saying it in the right way. Their poly relationship is trash. There's beef between the women's involved, there's jealousy, um, the man's not really supporting the family how he's supposed to be. Like, if the setup is to do with, um, providing and having the women available to raise the children, look after the home, then why is the man not providing? Like, oftentimes, we can go back to Pharaoh and use him as an example. This guy, he's hasn't had one successful polygamous relationship. They're all a mess, and he's just created broken homes. So, what was the purpose? And then he said he's still looking to have some kind of polygamous relationship, and he wants to have a sex cult in Costa Rica. Like, what for? When you haven't been able to successfully keep a woman yet, for one, and for two, you haven't been able to keep two. Like, what do you mean? Like, I just can't. I cannot wrap my head around that. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, can we not just focus on one person and try and make that relationship successful, loving, happy, stress free, and fruitful, and then multiply with that person? Like, why does there have to be so many parties involved? I just don't understand that. It doesn't make any sense to me. Um, so yeah, but yeah, guys, honestly, I literally need you guys to break it down to me. Like, what's he done? Put it in the comments. Tell me, because and I mentioned the school earlier, but also I've heard someone say that there are two schools that he has, and they actually are there and they have come to life. So what's the problem? Like, guys, tell me the problem, please. Educate me. But anyway, let's get into the video that I first wanted to look at. Yeah, so I saw this video on Spiritual Worlds, and it's just a clip. It's not the whole thing. If he has, I don't even know if there's a whole video, but this is just the clip I saw. I just kind of wanted to play that and then give my thoughts on it. So here we go. The title: Dr. Umar tells black women that there are plenty of good men. The problem is you gave your best years to men who didn't deserve it. Okay, let's go.
Around all through your 20s. Stop hoeing around all through your 30s. You give your 20s to the street Negroes. You give your 30s to the pretty boys. They use you up, dog you out. Now you're in your 40s. And nobody's jumping to marry your ass. And so now you're saying it ain't no good black men. No, no, no. There's plenty of good black men. The problem is you gave your best years to men who didn't deserve it. The problem is you gave your best years to men who didn't deserve it. And now you see your biological clock is ticking and your beauty clock. See, you got a biological clock. How long you can have those babies, and you got a beauty clock. How long you gonna be looking good? A biological clock. How long you gonna have them babies, and a beauty clock. How long you gonna be looking good? And guess what? When you hit those 40s, don't get me wrong, black don't crack, but everybody declines.
Okay, guys, so that's the video. And I guess I'd have to agree and disagree with him at the same time. Like, personally, for me, it's quite a broad statement to make. Like, you can't generalize all women that are, single in their 40s and just presume that they wasted their good years. Good years. Like, I'm saying that with inverted commas. Good years. Um, Inverted commas, yeah. Good years. It's like, good years. I mean, aren't you supposed to enjoy your life in your 20s? Aren't you supposed to just like be young and be free and, explore, travel, make friends, have fun? Like, isn't that what your 20s are supposed to be about? I'm not saying obviously be a whore. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, enjoy your life. Like, you shouldn't really be focused on, oh, I have to find a man and I have to get married. Like, I don't think that's what your 20s should be about. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you find a nice man along the way, then yeah, fair enough. Then you obviously can get in that relationship and build. But if you do that before you're ready, then your relationship is obviously going to fail because you need to, you know what I mean, enjoy yourself and get to know yourself and grow and develop, um, mentally, physically, emotionally. Like, there's so many things that we need to do in this life, and we can't just focus on finding a man and getting married, while you're young. Like, I don't think that should be the be all and end all of life. And sometimes some of these clips make it seem like that's all a woman should aspire to be, is just be married young and have children, and that's it. It's like, I don't know, it's difficult perspective, because at the same time, of course, you want to find the love of your life, in your 20s, get married, be happy. But if you haven't, life doesn't always work out that way. Do you know what I mean? You could be a great woman and you could be living a good life, and you still meet guys that, are just not up to par. It's not always, the woman's fault. But I feel like that clip is just places the blame solely on women, um, for not being able to meet the love of their life or get married or have a successful relationship by the time they get to 40. And I think that's really harsh, to be honest, because there's so many different factors and different circumstances that could lead to that current conclusion where they're at in their life at 40. So to base it off the fact that you presume that they've been wasting their good years in their 20s and 30s, when what if they have been looking for a nice man in those years? What if they've been living their life, doing well for themselves and trying to attract, a great male prospect? What if they have, and then it just hasn't worked out? Do you know what I mean? Like, men um mask themselves, and sometimes they choose to show one side of themselves or present themselves in a way where it's all, roses and flowers in the beginning, and then once you really get to know them, once you really fell for them and settled down with them, then their true colors come out. And it's like, well, now you're invested in this person, and now this person has turned out to be someone that they're not supposed to be. What do? You can't blame the woman for that. He's to blame. He acted. He was being fake. He chose to trap her. Like, there's so many other factors. Like, you can't just say that a woman has been wasting her good years. And it's not fair to say that once she gets to 40, that there's no more good years. You know what I mean? Like, 40 is not old. 40 you can still have good years in your 40s. People still get married in their 40s. They get married in their 50s. You can still get married. You can still have a life. You can still have kids in your 40s. Like, why are these men making it seem that life stops and life ends when you get to your 40s? I don't think that's the case. And obviously, we already know, like you said, black don't crack. So you can still be looking good as long as you look after yourself and you're taking care of yourself, you're eating healthily as much as you can, like, and you got good genes as well. You'll be fine. You'll be blessed out in your 40s. So I don't like how these men are making it seem like it's the end of the world, because that also brings me on to Kevin Samuels. He made comments about, after your 30s and you're not married. No. He was saying it's your 20s. Once you get to your 20s and you're not married by the end of your 20s, then, you know what I mean, you're going to be alone with cats. I just think, who are you? Who are you to say that? And him as well. Look at the state of him. Kevin Samuels had no right to talk about any woman's appearance. He had surgeries and fillers to try and make himself look half decent, and still he looked dusty. So please, let's not. And he wasn't married. Do you know what I mean? Like you're preaching things that don't even apply to yourself. You had two failed marriages. Do you know what I mean? You was the last person you was with before you passed was some link, wasn't even some serious thing. So why was you talking so hard and trying to shut women down, specifically black women, when your life wasn't perfect and the standards that you want women to live by, you weren't living by them yourself as a man. So make it make sense. You're being a hypocrite. Same with Dr. Umar Johnson. Like, is he married? I think he's married now, isn't he? And he's got a couple of women. He's married to a couple of women or something like that. And he's looking for more wives. Something silly like that. Like, what is that about? What is that about? And how old are you, sir? And how old are them women? Like, let's stop putting an age limit and timeline on women's love lives and their biological clock and their beauty clock. Like, let's stop watching women and let's start encouraging women. Do you know what I mean? And let's be positive. Can we not be optimistic? Can we not start putting out the message that if you are single in your 40s and if you are looking for a husband and if you are a great woman, that you can still have that? And there's nothing wrong with you. Like, can we not push that narrative instead? Why has it got to be so negative? We need to stop putting women down, specifically black women as well. We're already dealing with so much. So if you have a platform as a black man, then please use it to uplift. Please. Do you know what I mean? Like, why tear us down? Like, do you know what I mean? I'm not trying to comfort him at all. I'm just kind of giving my perspective on what I think in general in terms of, relationships and dating. By all means, I'm not an expert. I'm not married. I'm in my 20s, you know. But at the same time, I'm young. We're all still young. Let's not act like life is short. Don't get me wrong, life is short. But let's not put a time limit and start calling women failures or, looking at women as less than if they haven't achieved something by a certain age. Let's stop that, shall we? We've got to stop that. Okay, so I also wanted to get into another video of Dr. Umar Johnson, just one more, just to kind of give some variety to the topics that he does discuss. So let's get into the next video.
Last year, Black America in 2016, we spent $2 billion on Air Jordans, $4 billion on liquor and alcohol, $600 million on fast food, and we bought twice the amount of Mercedes Benzes as white America, although white America has twice the wealth of black folk. So the question becomes, what is it about the Mercedes Benz that makes it so attractive to African Americans even when they can barely afford it? And it's because it's a status symbol. That's all. And one thing we know about oppressed people, when you can't enjoy true freedom, you surround yourself with the symbols of that freedom. Absolutely. And that's why the Louis bag is so important. That's why our children will kill for Air Jordans. It's not the sneaker, it's what it represents. Right. And if I believe I'm worthless, that means I can only add value to myself by what I put on my body as opposed to what I put in it. Last year.
Okay, so you see that video, I can understand. Do you know what I mean? That makes sense, especially when you're talking about the facts and the figures. It's like, for me personally, I'm not a materialistic person. I'm not into, all kinds of name brands. But at the same time, I'm into enjoying life. But for me, enjoying life and feeling good about myself doesn't equate to, having Gucci and having all these name brands. For me, it's like having my own home, having, my own garden, being able to grow my own food, being able to eat what I want, having a full fridge, being able to, go on vacations and enjoy holidays and not just working all the time. Like for me, that's what I think about, and that's kind of what's more important for me. I'd rather have those things and invest in those things than, have the biggest Mercedes and have like the latest Jordans. Like that's just not a priority for me. So I do agree with him in a sense with, we do need as a whole as a community, we do need to focus on other things, and we need to be investing in other things. Like, we know how powerful our money is, the black dollar is, and we need to use that wisely, really. Um, we need to come together, and we need to invest in ourselves, and we need to build farms and buy farms, and so we can have our own crops and provide for our community, and you know what I mean, have get involved in inventions and have things that are our own, and like stop relying on these people and stop using these other people to base our success of. Like, as a community, all this money that we're spending on these materials that don't even belong to us, we need to take that money and invest it into something positive. Like, we need to buy land. We need to, put money into accounts for children and for young people. We need to create safe spaces for these young people, for them to learn, for them to develop, for them to grow, and even for them to become entrepreneurs. There's so many things that we could be using, our money for, but there is obviously a high percentage of us that are using it for materials, like you said. So that video, I think, has, a lot of truth to. It's informative, it's factual. Like, I feel like he's not, just chatting nonsense or speaking just to speak. So with him, there's like a couple of sides to him. Like, some things I agree with, some things I don't. But at the end of the day, I am aware that there's a lot of controversial comments and theories that people have about him, but I'm just not aware of them in detail. So guys, like I said earlier, I'm probably going to end this video here. But if you can comment and let me know what you know about him, what he's done that's fraudulent, what else has he done that's wrong, what has he lied about, how has he scammed, please just let me know and send me some links, or just tell me some things that I can go and look up into myself, and then I can do like an update video on Umar Johnson once I've found out everything else that I need to know, and then kind of give you my perspective on everything. So yeah, guys, don't hesitate to leave your opinions and let me know your thoughts. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, guys, take care. Speak to you soon. Bye.